This page was created to teach Black history. Unfortunately, the American educational system was designed to exclude our real historical account, so we are here to dismantle it. It's time to enlighten those of us who have been kept in the dark. I am a Black man who didn't know enough about my own history, so I began to dig deeper and do my own research. Black history is American history, so I want people of all races and cultures to join together to learn our history as one. Here, I will share all of my findings. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe to Teaching Black History. The story of the Black Holocaust, Sheikh Island. On January 12, 1904, the Herero people rebelled against German colony rule. Origins of the Herero revolt date back to the 1890s when tribes settled in Namibia came under pressure from the growing number of German settlers wanting their land, cattle, and labor. Factors such as loss of property, increasing debt in an attempt to resettle, lost herds, low wages on white-owned farms, and racial inequalities only intensified between the Herero and the Germans. When the Herero rebelled, they killed over 100 German settlers near the town of Okawani. Over 15,000 German reinforcements under the command of Luther von Trotha defeated the Herero force at the Waterberg River in August 1904. 2 months later, the Nama people broke out in a similar rebellion against German colonists. Traditional rivalries prevented the Herero and the Nama from joining together. However, both groups continued fighting guerrilla warfare against the German colony forces. Following the abandonment of the Luther Thornton policy of exterminating Herero within the borders of German Southwest Africa by denying them access to water holes, the colony authorities adopted a policy of sweeping the bush clear of Herero, both civilians and rebels, and removing them either voluntarily or by force to concentration camps. From early on, large numbers of Herero died in the camp, with 59 men, 59 women, and 73 children reportedly dying by late May 1905. Despite this high initial rate of mortality on the island, which, with its cold climate, was so unsuitable for habitation, particularly for people used to the dry climate, the German authorities continued to transfer people from the interior to the island because of the lack of food in the interior, but also because they wished to use the prisoners as laborers in constructing a railway connecting two cities. Word quickly spread among the Herero of the conditions at the camp, with prisoners in other parts of German Southwest Africa reportedly committing suicide rather than be deported to Lutteritz due to the stories of the harsh conditions there in late 1905. Due to the camp's reputation, detainees were not told where they were being sent to reduce the chance of revolt or escape. The Cape Argus, a South African newspaper, also ran stories describing terrible conditions at the camp in late September 1905. Many cases of rape of prisoners by Germans were reported at the camp, although some of these cases did result in a perpetrator being successfully punished, where a white champion took up the victim's cause. The majority of the cases went unpunished. Other factors such as minimal food, uncontrolled diseases, and mistreatment led to high mortality rates. Prisoners typically received a handful of uncooked rice. Diseases such as thyroid spread quickly. Prisoners were concentrated in large, unsanitary living quarters with low medical attention. Beatings occurred frequently, as the German officials often used the Sandblock to force prisoners to work. The Germans initially followed a policy of sending people from the south to concentration camps in the north, and vice versa, meaning that Nama prisoners mostly went to concentration camps around the city of Windhoek. By mid-1906, Germans in Windhoek were becoming increasingly concerned about the presence of so many prisoners in their city. In response to these concerns, in August 1906, the Germans began to transfer Nama people, prisoners, to Shark Island, sending them by cattle car, and then by sea to Lüderitz. The Nama leader Samuel Isaac protested this, saying that their transfer to Lüderitz had not been part of the agreement under which they had surrendered to the Germans. However, the Germans ignored these protests. By late 1906, 2,000 Nama were held prisoner on the island. The prisoners held on Shark Island were used as forced labor throughout the camp's existence, working on infrastructure projects such as railroad construction, the building of the harbor, and flattening and leveling Shark Island through the use of explosives. The highly dangerous and physical work inevitably led to large-scale sickness and death amongst the prisoners. The precise number of deaths at the camp are unknown. A report by the German Imperial Colony Office estimated 7,682 Haror and 2,000 Nama died at all camps in German Southwest Africa, of which a significant portion died at Shark Island. The vast majority of these prisoners died through preventable diseases and malnutrition, overwork, and the unsanitary conditions in the camps. In 1906, research was conducted by the Dr. Eugene Fischer, later a prominent Nazi scientist, on the skulls of dead prisoners, and on prisoners with scurvy by Dr. Bofinger. In 2001, a number of these skulls were returned from German institutions. The captured women were forced to boil heads of their dead inmates, some of whom may have been their relatives or acquaintances, and scrape remains of their skulls and eyes with shards of glass, preparing them for examinations by German universities. This work was performed at the Camp Swakopmund, and some of these experiments were conducted by the German doctors to develop their race theories about evolutionary proximity of black Africans to apes.